Hello, you guys. This is Josh Vision, and I'm here to give you my season 1, episode 1 review of Lovesick. So, we begin this episode with the character of Dylan, and Dylan goes to his local, clinic, and he finds out that he has the clap. I'm joking. He has chlamydia. He don't have gonorrhea. Anyways, he has chlamydia, so he's urged highly by, the doctor to tell any sexual partners that he has had over the years that he has chlamydia. So he tells this to his friend Luke. And to be quite frank with y'all, Luke is a male whore. And he's kind of nonchalant about it, saying, what's the big deal? Whatever happens, happened. But Dylan's really about telling these women. And we get a little insight to Dylan's love life and how he kind of sucks at love. He's basically like a hopeless romantic. And I believe on the list, there's 16 women who Dylan has slept with. And I believe the name that's on top of the list, and which this episode is really focused on, is the girl of Abigail, actually. So, while we start this episode, I believe this episode takes place. I don't know. I think probably a few years back, actually, in regards to Abigail. So there's a wedding happening, and it's the best friend of both Dylan, Luke, and their friend Eva. And I also believe I believe the guy's name was actually Agus or Angus or something, basically, and that him and Evie had a history that they dated or something, kind of briefly. So, anyways, Angus's wife is a real trip. She's kind of controlling and kind of bitter. We see her all throughout the episode complaining about trying to have everything perfect, her being a little bit vindictive and petty. I believe at one point she kind of forced her husband not to really enjoy, their wedding by making sure he only drinks water, no alcohol, because he gets emotional when he does, have a little bit of the drink. Also, this episode we meet Dylan's girlfriend at the time, who I believe he was dating for about a month, and she seemed to be really kind of cut off from him, kind of snooty, kind of itchy. Itchy in the way of kind of bitchy. And I believe he tried to cut a joke while checking into the hotel when he's speaking to the lady at the desk, and you could tell his girlfriend has no humor, but the girl at the desk clearly did, because she got his jokes and all that stuff. So during the wedding reception, when the vows are being made and all this stuff, we see Dylan try to have an intimate moment with his girlfriend, but she ends up punching him or elbowing him, if I remember correctly, straight in the gut, and breaks up with him literally while the I do's are being made. So Dylan's in his feelings, during the aftermath of the wedding. Luke is off, like I said before, being a male whore, and Evie, who I believe Angus's wife put in charge of the wedding photos, taking the photos and organizing the dinner and the table arrangements, all that stuff. She's just having so much crap to do. It seemed like every time she does something goes wrong. Dylan has a very interesting conversation with the person, I believe the priest or the priestess, who was there, to, how priests do and weddings, priestess do, in weddings with the books and all that crap. So they have an interesting conversation about love. She talks about how handsome Dylan is, and she does some really unpriestly things. She's really flirting with him flirtatiously, being very seductive and kind of, giving him hints that she wants a piece of Dylan. But while this is going on, Dylan is kind of taken away from her by Evie, who's complaining about the whole disarray of the wedding and how Angus tried to make a move on her, reminding her of their past, their dating history, how Angus should have ended up with her instead of his current wife. So this leads to Dylan speaking with Angus's now wife, and they reach an accord, and she agrees that she's gonna line up, I believe eventually Angus and her do, make up with each other, and while they're driving away, he pukes his freaking brains out, literally. And everyone's kind of shocked, but they laugh. I believe the priestess lady, which I mentioned before, who spoke with Dylan earlier, she reminded Dylan how, remember what I told you, you should be more like Luke, a ladies' man? And he was like, yeah. She was like, don't be like him. He's an asshole. And he's going to be very lonely, as time, goes goes on and all that good stuff. So after that, we see Dylan speak with the girl from the desk. And we find out the girl from the desk's name is actually Abigail. And Dylan talks about how he sucks at love, basically, hopes romantic, and how, he'd rather wait, to have sex from here on out because he feels that's that's the best way to find the love of your life or the person you like, your soulmate. And she was like, okay, so what do you do during the meantime? And eventually they have a little, hot lovemaking session, which brings us back to the present day, in which we see Dylan and Luke going to Evie's, I believe, like birthday party or something. And we find out that Evie's actually engaged to her boyfriend. Now, I forgot to mention this because it just came to me now. It seems as though Dylan has feelings for Evie and Evie has feelings for Dylan, because Evie, near the end of the episode, is looking through some of the wedding photos, and we see how she sort of looks at Dylan's photo as if she really does care for him as more than a friend. And as well as when Dylan was speaking with the priestess lady, he looked at her kind of the same way, but he reminds the priestess lady that they're just best friends, and it wouldn't work out. It would be kind of weird and strange. He doesn't want to ruin it. So after that news about her being engaged, Dylan is kind of hurt. And we see him walk out of the bar, and we see him call, I believe, the girl, no, Abigail, the desk girl. He says, it's been like a few years, or I believe he said 3 years since we last met. I got something to tell you. So we all know what that means. He's going to tell her about the chlamydia and all that crap. So if I missed anything, you guys, write some comments down below. Adios, Josh Vision.